Test, test, test. Hello, internet friends. Welcome back to the Digital Deep Dive Show with me, Reed Daly. This is episode number 7. And if you are new around here, the Digital Deep Dive Show is all about showcasing incredible technology and exceptional people building it, using it, and the impact it has on society at large. You can find the Digital Deep Dive Show on Page, and it is available on such great podcast platforms as Apple Podcast, Anchor, Google Podcast, and Spotify. We're also now on YouTube. That's youtube.com/at Digital 3D Show. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and have all the episodes downloaded automatically to your device. If you are on social media, you can connect with the show at Digital 3D Show on Twitter and Instagram. And all comments, ideas, thoughts are my own and not shared by any organization other than myself. And with that said, let's jump into the headlines. So it's been a couple weeks since episode number 6. And there was a few stories that just caught my eye that weren't necessarily something that happened in the last 24 hours or even like the last, week or so. But it's a combo of more recent news and sort of stuff that's been going on since the start of the year. So one of the things that I haven't heard a lot about people talking about, but I'm very interested in, is Amazon crossing over to TikTok. So with Amazon Inspire, that you can easily discover and shop products personalized to your interest from other customers, the latest influencers, and a wide range of brands. So you set up your feed basically, and you get started. You select your interest, sort of like a campaign. Examples could be indoor plants, coffee making, sneakers, whatever you like. And your shoppable feed will then be personalized with photos and video content selected just for you. It's easy to shop and scroll. That's kind of the user experience that people have become accustomed to from everything from TikTok and Reels and YouTube Shorts to other parts of their life. It's a lot of swiping up, down, left, right. So why does this matter? Inspire is a new in-app shopping feed that makes it just even easier to, I will say, make a purchase, but you're also getting a little different type of engagement. It's probably more attuned to your social experience, and as a result, you're probably not even like subconsciously thinking, I'm shopping. You're just going to see something and say, oh, wow, I can purchase this. Now, Amazon for years has been trying to get into high fashion, and they've had some success there. I wouldn't say a ton, but this just continues to reinforce Amazon's ability to leverage the data and their reach to find new ways to provide a unique selling experience to the consumers. So in the show notes, we've got a link to the Amazon news via their press release. You can go to Amazon and check out this new service and let me know what you think. All right, the second story I titled, Does Instagram Want to Be More Like Twitter? Instagram rolls out a short text post called Notes. IG has rolled out new features called Notes, allowing users to share short posts of 60 characters. So that's less than the original Twitter, which I think was 144. And what is it up to, like 266 now? And the company said it landed on Notes after running tests, learning what people are seeking out, and streamlining ways to share what's on their mind and jumpstart conversations. So why does this matter? Instagram announced a new set of features, including ways to share notes. Obviously, they're like candid stories. It's sort of like their version of somewhere between Twitter and Be Real. In my opinion, you've got sort of different profiles and groups you can kind of tag people to. So it's just, Instagram's way to potentially block competitors. Is one way to look at it. You can also argue it's just a different feature set as they continue to build out their ecosystem. I suggest you go check it out, make your own opinions of, do you like it? Do you like Twitter better or other text-based apps, or do you like Be Real? And let me know what you think in the comments. All right, going from one story about Instagram and new features, we're going to go to the third story, which is talking about the IG founders or Instagram founders that launched or are launching a new social-oriented news app. So the Verge was the first ones, or kind of the main ones, I suppose, that are covering this. The app and service is called Artifact, and it's a personalized news feed driven by artificial intelligence. It's currently in private beta. I did sign up, so come on, Artifact, pick pick my email, let me into your beta. And this is the next thing, or a modern twist, in my opinion, on Google RSS Reader plus comments and chats. It's it will be interesting, and I'm kind of curious to see what it looks like and kind of the experience. I've enjoyed sort of clipboards and ways to sort of pin news and collaborate on news stories, or not collaborate, but like kind of talk and discourse on certain topics with friends and then people in the social stratosphere. And as Twitter continues to have evolving features, and folks largely, I wouldn't say are leaving the platform. In fact, just Twitter has had a lot of press about it. There are more people entering in the space. And not that this is likely going to be a replacement to Twitter. It's probably going to be something sort of it's like Twitter and this. But, these two guys figured out how to create a very engaging platform just on pictures. And I'll be interested on their point of view on just how to do news. And it will be cool to see how Twitter and other services sort of look at this and respond. And even their old company, Instagram, how do they sort of take a look at what these guys are doing at Artifact and maybe incorporate some of the feature sets into their own platforms and products. All right, so there's a theme here if you can't tell. We went from talking about Instagram being more like Twitter, talking about the Instagram founders launching a new social app, and now we're talking about more Twitter replacements. So Spill is being led by a diverse team of former Twitter employees who deeply understand the challenges of social media today. Despite these challenges, they believe that this medium is only in its infancy and primed for its next evolution. That's right from their website. Spill, using large language model AI to improve content modernization and user support, blockchain technology to credit and reward creators, and partnerships with major entertainment brands to break exclusive content worth talking about. More critically, they are focused on rewarding creators who frequently set new trends and are routinely overlooked. Why does this matter? So I've seen a number of, I'll call them Twitter replacements or Twitter alternatives, enter the market or get greater press as a result of what's going on from Elon taking over Twitter. And I'm just excited to see all of them. I think everyone has a unique point of view on what are the optimal features for consumer. And it's interesting to see how they're using different technology to serve up content, aggregate content, map users to ads. And my hope is that with all of these platforms, that they do a little more focus on user engagement. And I don't mean like connecting one person to one person through messaging. It's more like, how do you truly build communities? And I think more recently, the approach that I've been taking with social media is I had really two channels of social, one for kind of like my work stuff and one for my personal music stuff and a few other things. And it wasn't specific enough. And I've sort of diversified my social experience. So I go more channels, but I go way deeper. And I'm finding I'm connecting with the communities that I was aspiring to connect with. So, like for me, I used to go to sneaker stores and kind of chop it up with sneakerheads, or record stores and chop it up with DJs. And it's just, you don't get that when you've got, your personal stuff, your work stuff, your music stuff, your travel stuff all combined. It's like I find I can't really connect with people who I want to, have a discourse with on those topics. So, I'll be keeping an eye out for Spill. I'm obviously on Twitter. I've signed up for the Post service, and I'm kind of interested in kind of keeping an eye on that. I'm probably not going to sign up for Spill, but I will, continue to monitor what they put out in terms of feature set and how they're using AI and blockchain effectively. So those three stories were really the focus on the social end. Now I want to go to sort of office or corporate efficiency. So moving away from talking about social media, I want to talk about a story that came out a couple weeks ago that I thought got decent attention, but I was pretty excited about it, just in terms of my past experience with the Dropbox and one of their competitors, DocuSign. And it looks like Dropbox is going to buy form management platform FormSwift for $95 million in cash. Dropbox today announced a few weeks back. The cloud-based platform is designed to help business built users edit, approve, share, print custom personalized documents. You could think of like NDAs, contracts, whatever you want, but it makes it super easy. And I was one of the first beta users for Dropbox, and I'm a big fan of DocuSign. I love all of the workflow engines, and obviously DocuSign is a competitor to this. But the fact that you're going to be able to have Dropbox, which would be your cloud storage for your forms or your templates, and then you have FormSwift being able to execute that and likely having some workflow. It's going to make a lot of users' experience a lot, easier to, do their job and get release forms and things like that. So, the big trend I think you're going to see, or one of the big trends I think you're going to see this year, is the realization finally of some of these third-party apps and workflows. It's not enough to just have the app, but it's actually got to be either connected to some sort of storage mechanism and then have a workflow that makes the ability to execute a number of tasks across more than two parties accessible. And this is just a prime example of that. So I haven't used the service yet, but looking forward to checking it out in the coming weeks. All right, the last news story for this episode is really talking about Meta reports a $4.3 billion loss, but the stock goes up. And the quote I read was, "Our community continues to grow, and I am pleased with strong engagement across our apps. Facebook just reached milestone of 2 billion daily activities, or active users, not activities. The progress we're making on our AI discovery engine and Reels are major drivers of this. Beyond our management themes for 2023 is the year of efficiencies, and we're focused on becoming a stronger and more nimble organization." So what I've read in this is they're doing some stock buybacks and commenting on efficiencies. So this leads me to believe that they'll be sharpening their pencil on their spend in the metaverse, even though their company is called Meta, and likely going back to focusing on its core business and what currently generates revenue. So the reason I'm talking about this, or that I find it interesting, is I've heard mixed results on the Oculus. I've purchased it not once but twice. It is a very cool experience. It just made me personally super dizzy, and I just didn't want to have that thing strapped to my head for hours on end. So I didn't keep it either time. But the tech is fantastic. And I do think as the headset gets smaller, you will see a greater adoption of it, and there will be corporate applications for it. But what I'm really more interested in is how Meta is going to spend their money this year in terms of making their existing products better. And that includes everything from Instagram and WhatsApp to their core Facebook platform. I have to say, more recently, I've actually started to use Facebook more again after probably 5, maybe even 10 years of not using it. I finally learned that they have a competitor almost to like Craigslist or eBay. It's somewhere in between that. And it's been a fun way to buy products in the similar fashion that I used eBay and Craigslist maybe 15 years ago. But it'll be very interesting to see where Meta makes its bets in 2023. Obviously, they want to continue to drive efficiencies like every other tech company is talking about in the wake of sort of changing tides for tech. And, good luck to the team over at Meta. Transitioning from the national spotlight, I want to talk about what's going on in my own city here in Chicago. There was a couple, or two more specifically, stories that hit the news radar this week. The first is that Stride raised $750K. Stride bridges the gap between employers and employees by providing a modern solution to employee development. The big reason for why I'm excited about this is ed tech is here to stay. I was the first to hate on online learning, but I have to say over the last couple of years, I've really become more impressed to see, where this technology and then the content has gone. I remember years ago having to take mandatory online training, and it was just so cheesy and so awful. And the courses that I've taken, from masterclass to LinkedIn Learning to independent training courses that people put out for chefs to yoga teachers, music production to art creation, I've really sought out experts in their disciplines, and it's just one of my more favorite ways to consume knowledge and get smarter. So I'm thrilled, obviously, for a Chicago-based company to raise $750K and continue to bridge, the physical and online learning experience and make it easier and more accessible for folks to get online learning. The second one was around HeCat Energy, which they secured a slightly larger check of $550 million credit for a facility package. And it's pretty cool to see that, a company like this is helping us diversify our energy capabilities towards energy independence. Less of necessarily a straight tech play and more of just like, when I think of tech, I'm thinking more of SaaS, but certainly technology in terms of the ability to, transition sunlight into energy. And looking forward personally to getting solar panels on my home to help, cost reduction and roll back energy on the grid. So, I took, as I mentioned at the start of the show, this was the first episode in a while, basically the first episode in 2023. And I took, a few weeks off here, not only because I had some, end of year, beginning of the year planning to do and travel, but I also was trying to think through the format of the show. And as you can kind of tell, I've sort of tweaked it a little bit where it's national news, sort of more local news. I want to talk about, individual spotlights, which I'm calling On the Rise, and then jumping into sort of my deep dive. And in this episode, I want to talk about Nicole Wiskoff. And if I am pronouncing your name incorrectly, I am so sorry. Hats off to her. She closed her second fund at $20 million, a big increase from her first fund at $5 million. Her target is to invest in 25 to 30 U.S. startups at pre-seed or seed stage. My favorite quote from her that I've seen on her social media is leaning in heavily on B2B. As someone who loves B2B, I thought her second kind of follow-up quote was, "I tell people I invest in unsexy businesses." I thought that was fantastic. What I've done in the show notes is linked to her website, her LinkedIn, and her Twitter. I thought this was really interesting in terms of her website, just how much she focuses on link backs to social media. It's just sort of an example of a more modern venture fund, and just kind of, putting it out there in terms of simple business. I make investments, connect with me. Let's get going. Let's rock and roll. So in terms of the focus areas, vertical SaaS, fintech, supply chain, marketplace infrastructure, and B2B SaaS. Investments, most notably, would be Loop from a logistics standpoint, Beacon, which is small big business commerce, and Vest, that is infrastructure. So, Nicole, hats off to you for closing your second round, and good luck finding ways to deploy that capital. All right, so the deep dive for this show is talking about predictions. And I wrote this about, 10 days ago. And between the time I wrote this and what's really transpired in the news and just talking with friends, I was going to make the prediction that certainly ChatGPT was going to blow up and be fantastic and just be the biggest thing, and certainly has. But I think more broadly, it's going to be finally, not the realization, but I think AI is finally coming into the spotlight. I think a combination of this is the tech has gotten better. Also, it's kind of the hype cycle for investors, both at the venture or angel venture and PE standpoint. I suppose public markets too. But about in 2019, Microsoft invested $1 billion in ChatGPT, and more recently they invested $10 billion. And the big play from Microsoft is obviously they want to, or they are likely going to apply ChatGPT to Bing and present a new way to serve up content to the consumer. So if you haven't gone to ChatGPT, you basically go, hey ChatGPT, write me this article, or hey ChatGPT, tell me where the best place to eat in this area is. And instead of getting a ton of examples, you get a very prescriptive and exact answer, like, hey, these are the 3 best restaurants, or here's the best restaurant, or it helps you craft an article or an email. I know personally I've been using it to almost jumpstart my emails. I'll say, hey, ChatGPT, help me write an introduction email, and it's just like a good primer, and then I make adjustments from there and keep things moving. So one of the things that I was doing some more research on ChatGPT and kind of what people are saying about it, and Alex Velenov, who put together sort of a list of things that ChatGPT could be used for, and I thought that was really interesting. What I'm going to do is include his sort of short list and a link to his articles, but it was like, ChatGPT for SEO, 50 awesome ChatGPT prompts, how to create LinkedIn hooks that will take your LinkedIn post from zero to a hero. I mean, the list goes on of what ChatGPT could do in terms of helping individuals and businesses accelerate things and operate more efficiently. For creators, it's going to become a tool or a tool in the tool brush or tool in the tool brush. They're going to be able to leverage it to assist them in creating content. There's certainly going to be some that view it as threat. I would compare it to, Photoshop and Illustrator of 15 years ago, where artists were saying, hey, this is going to just, this isn't a real thing, that's not authentic. And I think what you're going to see is people are going to learn how to leverage it to ask prompts or to create content, and then use that as a base or use it to kind of create. So it'll be interesting over time to see how creators and businesses adopt solutions like OpenAI's ChatGPT. Okay, so that was the deep dive section. Let's talk about some events and highlights, both IRL, or in real life. It's my new favorite acronym, and virtual. So there was a very great YouTube video by M&A Science, and the title of the event was The Evolution of M&A Functions. It was a interview between M&A Science CEO and David Hindley, the VP of Corporate Dev at Autodesk. He was talking about things that I'm really interested in terms of the M&A function and the role of corporate dev, and how that's evolved and kind of the toolkit he has. What I've done is I've linked to the YouTube episode. Highly recommend going checking that out. Staying with my friends over at M&A Science, they have a spring summit coming up. It's, a series of presenters and roundtable like experiences. It will be on March 8th. I believe it is all online, but I included a sign-up link. I believe it's also free, but I could be wrong on both, but hit the link and go make sure for yourself. I've attended some of M&A Science's events in the past. I always enjoy them. I find them very interesting to listen and reflect on what peers are talking about in terms of deal activities and just kind of the tools and techniques that they use to execute and manage deals. So go check out M&A Science and let me know what you think of the event. And if you are signed up, send me a message on Twitter. In terms of travel, I just got back from a fantastic quick trip to Boston. It was great to be back in the city for a couple of days. Got to meet with a number of startups, talked to a few founders that we're working with, and really just to see folks in the city that I work with on a day-to-day basis in real life and do some planning for 2023. In terms of upcoming travel and events, I'm going to be in Atlanta Monday through Wednesday next week, so that's the 6th through the 8th. If you're going to be in town, send me a message on LinkedIn, email, and Twitter. I've included those in the show notes. On Thursday, I'll be in downtown Chicago. Friday in Milwaukee to listen to Adam Gierstmer from Nemark. He's going to be talking about the rapidly changing automotive industry. That's an ACG event. Looking really forward to that one for a while here. And then a couple weeks from now, back in downtown Chicago, I will be at an ACG event on February 22nd. It's a conversation that will focus on M&A, technology, and manufacturing trends. So it's really three things that I love sort of wrapped together: M&A, tech, and manufacturing. If you're going to be going to that event, send me a note. Love to connect. And I hope you like the new format to the show. It's going to continue to refine. We're only in episode number 7, but I enjoyed planning this and kind of prepping for this. If you are a founder, entrepreneur, or tech company, and you're looking to amplify your message about your new product or service, please send me a message. I am very interested in connecting and kind of spotlighting, tech companies on the rise across, a variety of different sectors. And with that said, don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify. You can find the show on Twitter and Instagram at Digital3D Show. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, posts, and website at Reed Daily. That's ReedDailey. When you have a very unique spelling of your first name and last name, it makes it really easy to get those perfect URLs with the various social channels. And with that said, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. And if you are in the Northeast, good luck with the freezing cold temperatures this weekend. I heard it's going to be minus 30 to 40. So stay warm out there, and we'll catch you on the next episode.